Sup, playa? It's Thursday. You know what that means? It's Thirsty Thursday. It's our romance reading. The Romance Angels. Pretty excited. What do we got in store? We're like rolling into the weekend, so maybe we get some good news. Tell us what's good. See what the angels have to say. Did everybody have a good day? I just got in from work. I felt like it was like a super easy shift, almost too easy. And I had a really good night. It was pretty crazy. And it just didn't seem right. And I thought that it was all gonna go south. I had a large table come in at the end. I had like 9 guys. They were really drunk and they were on their bachelor party, but they're still like more pleasant than bachelorettes. So demure, these bachelors. They were a little bit of a handful, but they were very grateful. But they were from another country. They were from Canada, and so tipping customs are different in different countries. And we don't auto-grat on parties larger than 8 at our restaurant, so which is usually also common. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how it's gonna go. And the guy, I dropped the check with the one guy that seems the most coherent for him to like deal with the situation. And he comes and brings me the check a few minutes later, and then he like stuffs this like extra cash in my hand. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I'll get this taken care of and be right over. And I'm thinking like, well, this is great. I love cash, but for their check, it was gonna be very not enough. Like their check was like $650, and the amount of cash they gave me was not. It was like a third of what the tip should be. And I have to tip out like our support staff based on my sales, not my tips. So I was like, oh shit, like if they don't give me the proper tip, I'm gonna be like basically paying to run the restaurant tonight. But it all turned out great. Everybody left me a bunch of cash, and then they like left some on the credit card. So it all turned out good. And I was just like, oh man, it was very suspenseful that last hour. But I said, you know, at one point I was like, I started catching myself. I was afraid that they were not gonna leave me the proper tip. And I stopped myself. I was like, you know what? I'm the creator of my reality. Thank you, Jesus, for this wonderful tip. Over tipping me. Oh, so generous. And it ended up turning out in the end. That also happened to me in the woods yesterday. There was like all these wind advisories all day. And I mean, I think they're getting a little bit extra about like the weather warnings. But to be fair, like an enormous tornado plowed through this forest like 2 years ago, headed straight for my house. And if you go back into the woods, like straight back where the tornado was, every single tree is just like folded over. Like there's like acres of just like mass obliteration. Nothing remaining standing. So if you were a person in that while it was happening, it would be quite deadly. And so I just was like, man, I really need to get out in the woods. Like I don't really want to sit around over a weather advisory, especially a wind advisory. So I went ahead on out there, and it got like kind of startlingly windy at times. Like the trees looked like they could snap any minute. But then I saw a few other people out there, and I thought, well, it just made me feel a lot braver just because they were out there too. And I was like, okay, well, they seem like very reasonable, and if they're out here, then I should be safe. And I survived. It's a miracle. But without further ado, let's get into our love reading. Okay. Let's see. We do have our new moon in our new moon in Aries tomorrow. That means that I need to like try to get up early and do our big new moon video before work, because I actually have to work tomorrow. I have been off every full moon and new moon since I started, just by chance, but there's a big private event on Saturday, so they probably scheduled me for Friday because I wouldn't be able to work Saturday. So yeah, that's how that worked. But yeah, so we'll do our big new moon reading tomorrow during the day. Hopefully I'm not being a liar right now. I'm going to try to make that happen. But I was going to say that the bits and pieces I've been reading about this Aries new moon, there have been specific notes about communication and maybe heart-to-heart conversations, or bringing something out into the open that hasn't been yet. So that's a good time to do it on this Aries new moon. And I feel like I don't know whether it's tomorrow night at 3 something in the morning Eastern time, or whether it's happening tonight like at 3 something in the morning. I feel like if they call it the Friday night new moon, I don't know. I need to go back and check that. That might all be wrong. That might all be lies, all inaccurate. Okay, romance reading. What do we need to know? It's in our highest good. And the highest good for all involved. What will help us overcome our shortcomings and maybe take advantage of a situation. Children, your love life is being affected by children. And for me, I'm going to say, I mean, you might be dating someone or interested in someone who has kids or something. And you might literally have to deal with children. But this card, for the most part, I'm always considering that this is inner child healing in your own self that needs to happen. And most of the stuff that gets in the way of our adult relationships is inner child trauma and like belief systems and patterning that were kind of like acquired during our early childhood between ages 0 and 7. And I mean, it could be later in childhood, but those are the most impressionable years. And so a lot of our like sexual issues have to do with just like inner child stuff that needs to be healed, and things of that nature. But yeah, it also will affect our romantic relationships and like the passion levels and all that stuff. So usually inner child wounds contribute to our codependency, however that manifests within us. And codependency is something that pretty much everybody has to a degree. I mean, we're like humans. We're not like, you know, no man is an island. But interdependence is what we want to strive for. Which is healthy, a balance of being able to be kind of fulfilled and fine on your own and happy enough and satisfied, but, you know, having a partner makes everything better, or like, you know, it adds, it enhances, right? Another level of codependency in the opposite end of like super attached, like needing someone to be happy, or like needing a partner because you can't get your life together enough, so you need someone watching you. Like that's codependent in the attachment style. But if you are say like avoid it, and you like avoid like relationships because you don't want to lean on anyone, you don't want anybody to lean on you, like you're like avoiding all that, and like that's codependency also. So those are the extremes. And so we all kind of have like this like we're all kind of on a spectrum of codependency, and I think it can fluctuate at times. So I think that the thing that's directly connected to that is that inner child healing. And so you can go back to a memory and go into like a meditative state and live it out and relive it the way that maybe you wished it would have gone, or maybe the way that you needed it to. And if you do this when you're in an impressionable enough state, and maybe it takes a few times, but your subconscious doesn't really know the difference once you're in a certain like, I think it's beta state of mind. You're very impressionable, and you can rewire your neural pathways and use neural plasticity to like literally like basically brainwash yourself healed. So you can actually do that. So maybe this is a good time to do some journaling and some reflection on the child within. Also, maybe there is something about what you hoped for in childhood or dreamed about in childhood, or maybe reconnect with that part of you that wasn't disappointed yet, wasn't like, I don't know, beat up by life. You know, maybe the child version of you would have been a lot less filtered. You know, kids just say whatever, you know, and they're not really neurotic or afraid of rejection yet, or, you know, all the things that adulthood and broken hearts and growing and learning can bring with it. So maybe get back to a childlike state where you're more of a clean slate and you had less fears, less insecurities, less neuroses, less baggage. All of us, right? Let's see what our next card is. What else other than our inner child? Oh, this could be the one. We had this card like recently, so I don't know. Something's good. Something's worth trying, right? We can't say like, oh yeah, I got this card. It's definitely the one, but like maybe it's a good sign that you shouldn't be overly worried about it. Like this could go well. It could actually be a really good fit. So keep an eye out after you heal that inner child trauma. If you have some kind of nice run-in, maybe it's gonna go well. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type or expectation. So something could surprise you. Something could happen unexpectedly. Something could happen where your ego wants to like make you afraid or doubtful or be like, no, like this isn't gonna work out, or it could never work, or like blah, blah, blah. Like just keep an open mind. Be open-minded. And then let's do one more. Express your love. Aries new moon. Or express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Ooh, scary. Scary. Yeah, but don't worry, because this could be the one. All right. Some heavy homework, people. Eek. What do we got? Let's review. Inner child healing. Heal your inner child so you can have great sex. This could be the one. Could be, or it could be a good match. Let's just say that. Could be a good match. Could be very compatible. Very fulfilling. Keep an open mind. Don't, be too this way or that. Just keep an open mind. Just see how it goes. See how things go. And you heard it here, folks. Express your love. Don't hold back. Just say what you feel. All right. Well, I love you. Love all of you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. Expressing my love. All right. Good night, small shares, small loves.